There's a huge difference between towing versus driving. So I also have a Winnebago Solis van.
Yes.
And I can go longer and not be as tired in the van than I could towing. Because with towing, you're just like alert, high alert the whole time. Yeah, and you're looking at everything the whole time. And with the van, I feel like I can just kind of like settle in a little bit. But I mean, should I be doing the 300, the 3 rule? Absolutely. But the reason I don't is because I still work full time. And so
Right.
if I need to get somewhere, let's say I'm going to a convention or just to go visit friends or whatever, I have only a certain amount of days to get there. And so
Right.
I tend to pack in as many hours as I can.
Hey there, fellow wanderers, and welcome back to the Wandering Gypsy RV Life Podcast. I'm your host, Stan Cromlish, author of the Rolling Smooth RV book series, coming to you from somewhere out on the open road with my trusty companions, Bertie B and Rosie. This podcast is where the RV lifestyle meets real stories from the road, the lessons learned along the way, and conversations with people who live this life in their very own unique ways. So grab a cup of coffee, settle in, and let's see where the road takes us today. Welcome back. I am here today with Meagan Butler, FRVA Marketing Manager.
Hi.
Meagan, welcome to the Wandering Gypsy RV Life Podcast.
Thank you for having us. And I say us because Pippa and Iggy and Teddy want to be part of the podcast. So.
Hey, welcome. And you travel with your dogs on occasion, right?
Yeah, a lot.
Yeah. Okay.
They're RV dogs.
So we're here today to talk about solo RV travel and promote the Family RV Association. So Meagan, how long have you been a part of the Family RV Association?
I joined Family RV Association in 2018.
Okay. And you're now their marketing manager.
Yes.
So how has that transition helped you in your RV life?
You know, as a member of Family RV, I loved going to the different conventions and teaching because in my former life I was a teacher.
Okay.
And I like to go and teach RV topics at these seminars. And so when I needed, he's a drama queen.
Oh, well, hey, folks, we've got dogs.
Yes.
And it's going to be fun
They're
today.
eventually going to sit down.
It's all good.
Okay.
Hey, it's all good.
Once we ignore them, they'll sit down. So anyway, I joined after working in the RV industry for several years and just been lucky enough to go from a member to working as the marketing manager. So I've been there about a year and a half, right at the start of the rebrand.
Okay.
And just have been plugging along ever since as a member / staff.
Great. And we just finished up. I saw you running around crazy in Perry, Georgia at the Changes in Latitudes, Changes in Attitudes RV rally there.
Yes. Those are always, they're so fun. It's tiring as an attendee and as a staff.
I was tired after that week.
Yeah.
I cooked with Kevin and Patrice McCabe of RV There Yet. We did that one night, and then I was in the Georgia Grown building for all day, every day, and then taught an internet seminar.
Yeah, how was that seminar?
It was great. I mean, I had the smallest room in the seminar building, but it was packed and wall-to-wall people because everybody wants to know, how do you internet on the road?
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah, I gave a seminar as well. I did fun ways to track and share your RV travels.
Yes.
And my room was also smaller, but fully packed. I had to turn people away, which I was like, oh gosh,
People are hungry for this knowledge.
Yeah.
And I won't be at Sedalia, but if you want to go see what a Family RV Association rally is all about, sign up for the Sedalia rally, which is July 1st through the 3rd in Sedalia, Missouri.
Right, July 1st through the 4th.
Through the 4th, okay.
Yes. There's going to be like a huge 4th of July fireworks downtown. There's a parade. And so I believe every year they do their fireworks show on the fairgrounds.
Oh,
and
wow.
so we're combining some of the stuff that's going on in Sedalia with our activity. It should be a lot of fun.
It should be. And I hate it doesn't fit my travel plans, but I'm sure everybody that's going will have a blast.
Yeah. Absolutely. They're always fun.
They are.
Yeah. Whether you go there, even like for first timers, like if you're thinking about like wanting to go, you definitely should, because there are a lot of things in place to make it comfortable for a first timer. We do a first timers meeting. People who are, I don't know, we don't really have a name for the people who have gone several times. Us oldies.
Veterans.
Yeah, veterans. There we go. That's probably a better term.
Except, there's a veterans chapter for military veterans.
Yes, true.
But if you've attended 2 or 3 rallies, you're a rally veteran.
Right, exactly. And those rally veterans see the little red tag that shows that you're a first timer, and they make it so comfortable for you as a first timer to like help you know where to go, give you answers to questions, and just kind of embrace you. And then you definitely, after you go as a first timer, you come back because now you have friends.
That's right.
And you want to see your friends. That's one of the great things about the organization. And gosh, I met some of my very, very best RV friends in Minot, my very first convention.
And my very first convention was Tucson in 2022. And I met some of my best RV friends at my first rally. Mm-hmm. And it ended up being, I saw friends in the campground. I saw people in the campground putting the signage up to go into the rally. And I looked at them and I said, wow, now I know how to do that, because they showed me the way.
Yeah.
And then we did RV basics in Tucson, and lo and behold, the folks I had seen in the campground were parked right behind me at Tucson Fairgrounds.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
That's funny.
I became friends with them at that time. Mm-hmm. And it has been an absolute wonderful RV journey with Family RV Association.
Yeah, I love it. I'm lucky that it's my job. But really, it's my passion, just the people, the organization, and I'm just lucky enough to be able to get paid to do what I do. Yeah.
So you do a lot, even though you're married, mm-hmm. you do a lot of solo RV travel.
Yes.
And in planning this podcast for this week, that's what we want to talk about. Is I'm a solo RVer through and through, and when you go to these conventions and all of that, you're a solo RVer a lot.
Yep, absolutely.
So what are some of the things as a solo RVer that you watch out for when you're on the road?
Several things. Number one, because I'm a female, it is different when you're a solo female RVer. The situations and everything that we experience are all the same, but I would say maybe just being a little bit more mindful of your surroundings as a female is a little bit different than as a male. Uh-huh. And I would say that that's one of the things that I think about when I am out and about by myself, is just paying attention to my surroundings, making sure that I'm comfortable. And if I'm uncomfortable, I want to make sure that I listen to my gut and make a decision that will keep me safe.
Even as a guy solo traveling, you need to pay attention to those surroundings.
Yeah.
If something doesn't feel right, trust it.
Yeah, absolutely.
Trust it.
Yeah, I've left. I remember one time I was driving, I believe, from Arizona. I don't exactly know where I was going, but I ended up in New Mexico, and I was going to stay overnight at a state park. And I rolled in, and it was one that was like a little bit off season. And when I got in there, there was nobody there except maybe one RV. And I just had a feeling that I shouldn't be there. And I was getting close to dark. So here I am towing. At that point, I was towing my base camp, my 16-foot trailer. I was tired, but I made the decision. I just didn't feel comfortable staying there with one person in the campground. It was really remote. And so I turned around, and I ended up going back to the interstate and then finding another campground like 30 miles up the road where I could stay. I'm sure that I was fine, but just when I got there, I was like, I don't know. The vibes weren't vibing.
Well, if the vibes weren't vibing, trust it.
Yes.
You really need to trust it, because you can get into a situation that can turn ugly in a hurry if you're not careful.
Yeah, absolutely.
What are some of your, give me a funny RV travel story as a solo RVer. What's your funniest or your foul up leap blunder or something that was even cool?
Okay, so the very first time, so my very first solo teardrop camper, a new camp tab 320S. And so I had this cute little teardrop, and I was going to go from Colorado to Michigan to watch my dad. He was going to do this marathon canoe race, the Au Sable Canoe Marathon. And it was something that he had dreamed about doing since he was a little boy. And at 70 years old, he was going to do it. So I was like, I need to get out there, and I need to see my dad do this. So I thought, well, what a perfect time to do that is to take my new travel trailer out there by myself. And so I, was packed up, and I was on my way. And I would say I was partway into Kansas, and something didn't feel right behind, and I just felt like wobbly. And I pulled over at a rest area. The first line of support is my husband, and I say, hey, something doesn't feel right. And, I kind of walked him through. I looked at everything, and everything looked okay, but it just felt off. And so he's like, it's probably nothing, keep going. And I'm like, I don't know. I get another hour or two down the road, and as I'm switching lanes, my tab decides to start to jump behind me, fishtail. And it was like doing this behind me, and I was like knuckle on like white knuckle, so much that I think I bruised my middle finger, like the tendons in my middle finger. It hurt for like a month. And I was like, oh my gosh, my heart was pounding, and hit the trailer brake and just try to like straighten it out. And I did, but let me tell you, that scared me so badly. I probably went way, way under the speed limit after that. Got to my campground for the night, and it was in Lincoln, Nebraska, and it was so hot outside and so humid. I don't know if I've ever felt humidity like that. So I grew up in Arizona, and at that point I'd been living in Colorado. It felt like what I thought the Philippines would feel like. It was so hot, and I couldn't get cooled down, and I get in my camper, and I'm sweating, and my heart is still racing, my finger hurts, and so then I'm like, okay, what am I gonna do? So finally, air conditioning kicks in and start feeling a little bit better, and I start doing research, and I think I decide what the problem is that my drop on from my hitch was too high. And so it elevated the RV a little bit, so then it wasn't level when I'm towing. And so when I switched lanes, and let me just say, I'm a grandmother driver. Like, I drive very slowly. I always have, very cautiously, I should say. And my mom and sister call me grandma driver. And I'm okay with that. So, I was not like racing in and out and driving like crazy. It just happened to be, I was just off. And so I found a Camping World just on the other side of Nebraska, I believe, into Iowa, and was there at 8 o'clock in the morning. And I went in and I talked to the people. They helped me get a different drop. They helped me get that bolt on and get it all set up, and I was fine after that. But like, that scared me so badly that like it will change me for a solo RVer for the rest of my life, and makes me know that when people are talking about towing things, they mean it. Like,
yes, they do.
It's important to make sure that is working correctly.
And I am a grandpa driver. I don't go over 65 with Birdie being Rosie, because I see too many people with these big fifth wheels going 90 miles an hour, and I don't want to have a blowout at that speed. No. And we've had several blowouts before. Thankfully, not when I was by myself. Those are scary, and you don't. Just be safe. Right. There's ratings on your tires to go a certain speed for a reason. There's trailer speeds, recommended speeds for a reason. If you're in that much of a hurry, leave a day sooner. That's it. And, do you adhere to the, quote, 300-mile rule?
No. Do you?
Yes, I do. And I cheated the first. I'm here in Texas, folks. We're in Weatherford, Texas this week. Mm-hmm. But I cheated the first day, which was basically Raymer, Alabama to Vicksburg, Mississippi, 320 miles. But I did not factor in the rain. Traffic, mm-hmm. and all of that. That 320 miles, by the time I got to Vicksburg, I was done. Yeah. Toast. Yeah. So the next 2 days to get here were 185 and 210.
Nice. Yeah.
And so I make sure that I try to make sure to keep it under 300, because you towing an Airstream, you're 55 feet long with a truck. I'm 36 with an RV and 20 feet with Rosie behind in a tow bar. That's a lot of work. Meagan, you know that. That's a lot of work, paying attention, making sure you can change lanes without knocking somebody else off the road.
I would say that it's tiring to tow anything behind you. I'll be honest, like the Airstream, the 30-foot one, I've only towed that for like a half an hour. Pat was tired one time and he's like, I'll tow it. I'm gonna take a nap, and then I get in the driver's seat and suddenly he wasn't tired anymore. So I haven't towed that, but I towed my tab, I towed my base camp. There's a huge difference between towing versus driving. So I also have a Winnebago Solis van.
Yes.
And I can go longer and not be as tired in the van than I could towing. Because with towing, you're just like high alert the whole time. Yeah, and you're looking at everything the whole time. And with the van, I feel like I can just kind of like settle in a little bit. But I mean, should I be doing the 300, the 3 rule? Absolutely. But the reason I don't is because I still work full time. And so if I need to get somewhere, let's say I'm going to a convention or just to go visit friends or whatever, I have only a certain amount of days to get there. And so I tend to pack in as many hours as I can. So I would say, do as I say and not as I do.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah.
And the thing is, your RV life and my RV life look different. But they look different because we're different individuals.
Yeah.
And I've told people, do your RV life the way you want to do your RV life. Don't try to be like Meagan or Stan. Do it what makes you happy.
Yeah, because, I feel like there's all of these rules out there for RVers, and they're there for a reason, and it's important that they have those rules, or the RV industry, like a lot of these are safety things, but then also, do what feels best for you or what works for you, because it might not work. There might be something that doesn't work for you, so you make it work for you.
Last week, I was talking to Tilden Hooper, bareback rider. He travels a lot for Rodeo, and Rodeo and RV travel are much the same, except when they leave the Rodeo in Prescott, Arizona, and they're up the next night in New Mexico or Colorado, they're going to be pulling that all-night drive.
Yeah.
They can't adhere to that 300-mile rule, even though they're traveling in a Capri camper or they're pulling horse trailers with living quarters. It's a different lifestyle that they're leading, but it still has all of the same RV components inside.
Yeah, absolutely.
So what has the blunder with the tab and the drop hitch, what would you tell the Wandering Gypsy RV life travelers? What are some of the fun things you get to do as a solo RVer?
Well, as a solo female RVer, I get to say that I go out and I travel on my own, and I feel like I am an advocate for solo female travel, so I feel like I get to meet other women or even talk to other women online who want to do this and just show them that they can do it. Like it seems scary. Like I think the RV life, it seems more like it's like male centric, but it's not.
No.
And so just to show women that you can do it. And there are things to be worried about, of course, but that it's not unattainable. If this is what you want to do, go out and do it and start small. Like I have some things in place that I tell people, like what you should do with maybe the first time you take your RV out or whatever. But I love it because I get to go out. There's nothing more fun for me than to be parked in a campground and to know that I did that. And to be sitting in my camper and, reading a book or, just having a cup of coffee or a cocktail at the end of the night.
Right.
And talking to other people in the campground. That's what I love the most. I love just getting there and being in a spot, knowing that I did it. And I just feel at peace when I'm in my RV. It's hard to explain the feeling that I get when I walk in. I can still smell my very first RV, my tab, which I miss that RV. But I would get in there and that smell just brought me back. to like that point in my life where it was the first time I decided to do this, and it was just so special. And anytime I get in a tab, I feel that, and I can smell that. Smell brings me back.
Did I see that you did a solo travel seminar
Yes.
at Perry?
So I've done several solo RV seminars. I did a couple at Perry. My very first time to Perry, I did one. At first it was solo female travel, and I had some gentlemen in the class. And one of them said, oh, I'm waiting for my friend to come. Can I come and sit? And I was like, oh yeah, of course. And then afterwards he came up and he said, I kind of lied. I really wanted to be in this, and I'm not a female. Is that okay? I was like, absolutely. But after that, I realized that solo travel is for, it doesn't matter your gender.
No.
Like, so after that, I just opened it up to solo travel, solo
Right.
RVers, because we all are doing the same thing. We all have similar experiences. Maybe what got us to be a solo RVer might be different, but just it's something that everybody needs to experience. So then after that, I started giving classes on just solo RVing.
And and my audience knows I'm a solo RVer, and I started out in a 25-foot Class C with no slides. There's a joke in RV life. Buy your third RV first.
Yes, that's true. Yeah.
Buy your third RV first. Well, it took me 3 to get the one my forever home, so to speak.
I'm glad you found yours.
Yes.
I'm still looking.
You're still looking? Okay.
I don't know. I love RVing. And so I think I want to try every kind, because they're all a different experience. You use different RVs for different things. And so, I love my van, and we love our Airstream, but will we get something different? Probably.
Right.
We've had the Airstream the longest, which I think is almost 5 years.
Yeah. In your Solis, it's a Class B van. You can park it in a legal parking space.
Yes.
In Walmart.
Yep.
And for me, I got to figure out where I'm parking 36 feet of Class A motorhome.
Yeah. I don't have to do that. When I was towing, I did, but with the van, I can just kind of pull in and I sit and park and then make a decision. And so a lot of times what I do is I don't have a plan, because again, I know I've got 4 days to get from point A to point B. I have an idea of where I'm maybe going to stay, but really, if I'm having a good driving day, I might pull over to a rest area and be like, okay, I think I can go another 4 hours. Where am I going to go? And so I'll pull off the side and then make a decision on where to stay for the night. But, Cracker Barrel, which I've stayed at several Cracker Barrels, which I like, I can more likely find a spot to fit in than somebody who's towing something big or has a toad, because not everybody's going to take up the spots for a van.
I take up at least 10 spots when I pull into a parking lot or whatever, because 36, like I said, I'm 55 feet total length, which is people ask me all the time. I don't know if they ask you, how did you drive that thing?
Yeah.
And that's what's scary to a lot of people, is driving something that big.
Yeah. Were you scared the first time you did it?
Heck yeah, I was scared.
Yeah. And I think the first time I towed, I was scared. I think, and even after like a year, if I hadn't used it in a few months, every single time that I would get back in to tow, I felt just apprehensive, a little nervous. Even though I knew what I was doing, I still felt like I need to be aware and like go through all the steps and make sure that I'm not missing anything every single time. It was like new for me every single time.
And so I had been off the road for about a month before this trip, and it took me about 100 miles to get comfortable and fall back into the groove.
Yeah.
Do you find that yourself?
Yeah, I do. Yeah, I feel like the first day, especially of a longer trip, I'm more tired at the end of that day.
Yes.
Because again, everything feels new again, and so I've got to get my groove.
Right. I'm here through Thursday, then I pull out of here and I head to Dodge City, Kansas.
I've been there several times.
I love Dodge. I love Dodge City. Love Boot Hill Distillery. Love everything about Dodge City. And I'll get to play tourist next week in Dodge.
Fun.
Then ultimately I'll get up to Wyoming, and I'm staying in. Have you been to Thermopolis yet?
No.
Thermopolis is in Wyoming, and it's at the headwaters of the Bighorn River.
Okay.
And there's the Wind River Canyon's there, and I'm going to be fishing for a couple of days that week.
Oh, fun.
But that is, to me, RV travel is about seeing the country.
Yes, absolutely. Yeah. Do you feel, so before I started RVing, I'd lived in several states, but I didn't ever really experience the United States and like what beauty we have until I started RVing. And then as soon as I did, like the possibilities like were endless, and it opened up. And now, I mean, and I enjoy international travel, but now I'm like, well, there's so many places I want to go to in the U.S. and I want to bring my RV there. That's pretty much my focus now,
right,
is just to go to as many different places or return to the places that I love the most with my RV, because now you get to see so many things.
You do.
Yeah,
you
I
do.
love it.
And I love it too. It brought me to Texas this week, and you know, I love Texas. I've seen the Alamo at San Antonio. I've visited Fredericksburg and the old German town there. But, you know, going to Fort Worth, Cowtown Coliseum, and all of that, I'm in heaven in Texas. So what brought y'all to Texas?
You're going to laugh. On the way home, so Pat went with me to Perry, not this last year, so 2025, to the FRVA convention, and we were on our way back. And the year before, I was driving and there was going to be a tornado in the Dallas area. So I dropped south and I ended up staying in this really cute campground in Waco. And the bluebonnets were just like in full bloom. And I was so just taken by these flowers. Photography is my hobby. And so I wanted to show him that campground and the flowers. But we get there and it was like a bad bluebonnet season, so there wasn't a whole lot of flowers going on. So we stayed there for a week, and then my aunt and uncle had just moved to Weatherford. And so we thought, oh, they just installed a 50 amp at their barn. You know, we'll go and park there, and then Pat can fly out for the week and I'll work in the RV, and he can fly out where he needs to go and then come back and we'll get on the road. Well, we were here during that trip. We went for a walk where I'm living right now, and we came across this property and he fell in love with it. He's like, do you want to move? I said, sure. So we, we put our house on the market in Phoenix, and a year later, here we are. I mean, we just moved in. Yeah.
Excellent.
So I don't know a whole lot about Texas other than I've driven through a whole lot.
Hey, you can drive through. It's like 800 miles if you're on I-10.
Yeah.
It's 800 miles from the entrance of Texas on I-10 to the exit of Texas in El Paso.
Yeah. And long days.
That is for my 300-mile rule, it's 3 days.
Yeah. I mean, and I've done several drive-throughs, so it is nice to be able to be here and to like explore and finally see stuff around me. As I have another friend who is a solo camper, does a lot. She's married as well, but she does a lot of solo camping. And we met up about a month ago to go look at bluebonnets down in Burnett. And she's a photographer friend as well. And so we use our RVs as a way to go to photography trips. And so we went down and I explored some of that area of Texas and got to see the bluebonnets in bloom. It was a lot of fun.
Great.
Yeah.
Great. So if you could tell folks anything about that are thinking about getting into the RV life. I mean, I always say, kind of like the Michael Jordan Nike commercial, just do it.
Yeah.
But there's more to it than just do it.
Yeah. That should be a catchphrase, right? There's more to it than just do it.
Yeah.
I mean, I would say, like, if this is something you're interested in, don't wait.
No.
Because you're always going to wait for, I need to save money for this, I need to whatever. Yes, I understand that those are all things, but you can also rent.
Right.
So get out there and experience it, even if it's just renting. And if you're scared and you're not ready to tow, you're not ready to drive, get an RV rental and through one of the like peer-to-peers, and they can deliver a trailer or an RV to a campground and set it up for you, and you can stay in that campground and experience it and rent it, and then when the rental is over, you give it back and they pick it up. Like, there's ways to go out there and try it if you're not quite ready to make the jump yet.
And it's scary, Megan. It's scary.
Yeah.
My And do as I say, not as I do. When I bought my 25-foot Class C back in 2020, I took a 10,000-mile, 77-day trip
Whoa.
in it as a first trip. I only had spent one night in it as a shakedown cruise.
That's brave.
Brave or stupid, one of the two.
A little bit of both, right?
A little bit of both.
Yeah.
But sometimes I have found, I don't know about you, but I have found sometimes the best things in life come with a little bit of fear.
Absolutely. Yeah. And I think it's what makes you like it more after you go through an experience or something that maybe scared you and then you came out the other side and said, I did it. Maybe, and that's why I like RVing so much, is there's lots of those times where I was afraid or I wasn't comfortable doing something, or I did something, I stepped outside my comfort zone. Like, I was never a person who was adventurous and thought, oh, I'm going to go travel by myself across the country, drive across the country. Never. In fact, I don't like driving. I know, but if I'm driving in my RV or towing something, it's like, yep, sign me up. Where am I going to go? Like, if I don't have to fly somewhere, I'm not going to. I'm going to take my RV.
Right.
And it's just because the experiences that I've had and how I feel when I'm in my camper. So, like, it's my happy place.
Yeah, it's mine too.
Yeah, and I want other people to feel that. And I don't know if everybody does feel that. Like, there's people who RV, people who love it, and then there's people who, like, really love it. Like, it is hard for me to think, wow, you know, I'm almost 50 years old and I've wasted so much of my life not RVing. And I have all of this time to make up for everything that I feel like I've lost. But, I mean, there's still lots of time and lots of things to see, and I'm grateful for it. And I would say my dad is the one that got me interested. He took us on a trip to Alaska. We flew into Alaska, and he rented 3 different RVs for my family. And we drove around the Kenai Peninsula for 2 weeks in these rental RVs. And after that, I was like, this is fun. I'm hooked.
So my parents did the same thing. We flew up. It was my mom, my dad, my mom's mother, Granny, and my brother. We rented a 36-foot, 34-foot Class C, and we were all in it for 2 weeks. And management, if you're watching this, I know I'm still banned from any travel with you and the family.
Why?
Because I was a horse's patootie.
Oh, okay. At least you recognize it.
But I fell in love with it 30 years ago. And then finally in 2020, I got the impetus to go do it.
Yeah. Yeah, I would say, like, just don't wait. Make it happen. Start small. Even, like, people are like, oh, don't get a pop-up. If a pop-up is what works for you, if that's what your vehicle can tow, like, don't push. Like, that's one thing is, like, do not push the weight limits. Do not push what you think your car can do. Get what your car can do and start small. And that's the reason a lot of people start with a pop-up, because they move from a tent to a pop-up, and then they learn, okay, maybe this is what I want on the next one.
Right.
And so, and why so many RVers have multiple RVs.
Right. It's why it took 3 for me.
Yeah.
And I'm sure it'll take 4 or 5 for you at some point.
Oh, I think we've already had 4 or 5, but
okay.
Yes, even more. But you learn what you like. And I think as you get older, or as times change or your situation changes, the way you RV is different. Right. So, you know, when we lived in Colorado, I did a lot of boondocking, off-grid camping. I loved it. You know, when I moved to Arizona, there's still lots of opportunities to do that. But I think with my job and just my lifestyle at the time, I wasn't doing a lot of boondocking. Will I go back to it? Probably. Mm-hmm. But, you know, just our styles change. And yeah, it's silly that we have 2 RVs, but we have 2 RVs for different experiences.
They have 2 different use cases, quite frankly.
Yeah, they do. And so, and Pat doesn't love the van. My very first, my Tab, he couldn't fit in the bathroom, and after he decided he wanted to boondock with me, it's why I upgraded in size to the Airstream base camp. Mm-hmm. So he could at least fit in the bed a little bit and get into the bathroom. And then when we traded for my van, you know, he fits in there, but if we're traveling together in the van, he sleeps sideways in the bed with my dogs, and I sleep in the pop-up. Because we both don't fit in it. But, right. You know, if there's a long trip and we're going and we want to have the van to be like zippy in and out of places, then we'll take it and, spend time.
Can you tow the Airstream behind the van?
No, the van only has like a 3,500 towing capacity.
Okay.
It's a Ram chassis. I'm sure if we had a Mercedes-Benz, a diesel, then we might be able to tow something smaller, but probably not the 30-foot.
Okay.
Yeah, I wouldn't feel comfortable doing that. She's got some flies.
So just do it if you're going to do it. Rent to get started. Mm-hmm. Yeah, that's a great idea. Mm-hmm.
And I also want to say is like another piece of advice is when you get your new RV, do as you say, not as you do. This is an example. So the very first time that I went camping by myself with my RV is I went to KOA just about 45 minutes from my house. Mm-hmm. And, I set everything up. I learned on that trip that you should always have your manuals or guides with you. If not in hand, downloaded to your computer, because this particular campground didn't have great Wi-Fi. And this is before Starlink and all of that. And I didn't really have great cell phone service. So to access my guides or go onto the boards of like the Facebook group or whatever and ask questions on something I couldn't figure out on my own, I couldn't do. And so, which I would rely on, which is also, it's a really good thing to do, is to rely on the community to help you out. But I learned that trip to make sure you have those things with you. But do a shakedown. Go close. So if something happens or you're scared or you need to be close to home, you forget something, you can go back and get it, or you're close to a place where you can go and go shopping and get what you need. And then always keep a list of the things that you think you need, like in your phone or whatever, because you think you're going to remember it and then you get home and then you forget. Right. So like what worked, what didn't, but always do like a shakedown that's, very close to your house and get comfortable with your rig and then take an adventure after that.
Yeah. So I did a one-night trip to Shakedown. Just for me, it was basically, how do you plug in? Uh-huh. How do you hook up water? Mm-hmm. How do you hook up sewer? Yeah. And all of that. Did I really learn anything on that one-night Shakedown? No. But that first 77-day trip, I learned more in that 77-day trip. And I figured out, I don't know if you've experienced this or not, I figured out I'm handier than I thought I was.
Yeah, I mean, you've done some crazy things up on your roof and doing some things. Yes. Like the RV life, you're driving or towing a vehicle that's, cramming down the road, and every pothole or whatever, they say it's a moving earthquake for a reason. Yes. Screws pop out, things happen, and you have to kind of learn how to do those things to fix on the fly. Mm-hmm. Because if you don't, then you're going to be parked a lot.
And you're going to be paying somebody $175 an hour, mobile mechanic, mobile tech, mobile RV techs. Mm-hmm. And, they're worth it. Yeah. But if you can fix it yourself, funny story. I have a ceiling fan in the bedroom of my RV. And when I landed in Shreveport yesterday, or day before yesterday, one of the ceiling fan blades was hanging because it's like we all said, it's a moving earthquake. Mm-hmm. And so I had three or four spares of the blade holder. So unscrewed it, fixed it, and it was, but those things, screws loosen, sealant fails, I had the roof leak that lived rent-free in my brain for about 6 weeks. Uh-huh. But no, let's close this out. Meagan, where can people find you on social media?
I am at Meg Goes RVing, a period in between each one of those words, on Instagram. And I have a Facebook page, Her Fine Mess. I have a blog. Don't judge me on that website or the blog, because I started writing professionally and now I don't do it on my own page, but you can find me at herfinemess.com.
Okay.
Or at FRVA, and Butler at FRVA.com.
Yep. That's where I find you all the time. Yep. Meagan, let's close this out with tell folks about FRVA and why they should join.
Okay, let's stick with like the solo lens. Family RV Association, a lot of people, when they hear the word family as a solo RVer, and they think, well, this isn't for me. I don't have a family. Well, I have grown stepchildren, and my family is me, my dogs, my husband, and a family is the unit of people at Family RV Association that are there to help you. So don't get hung up on the word family. It's for everybody. And as a solo RVer, it's probably one of the best things that you can have, because you have the medical and travel assist, where if you're full-time, you don't have to worry about 75 miles restriction, but for most of us at 75 miles from home, if something happens to you medically, this is included in your membership. You can get back to your house, your RV, your pets or whatever, and that's included, that benefit is included in your membership. But then also you get access to roadside assistance. Like, I'm a huge proponent of that. I've had several times where I've needed to call roadside assistance. And so because we are a large organization, you get group rates. And so you can get roadside assistance and other things at a discount because of the group rates. And I would say that that's important to have. But most importantly, I would say is like the community, is that we're there to teach you. You guys, the organization has been around since 1963. So there's been RVers after RVers, and we're all teaching each other and learning from each other. And so what better way to learn about the RV lifestyle than to do it from the people who live this, who understand it.
That's it. To me, the word family in Family RV Association is, I've got a family around me of fellow RVers.
Yes.
They become, I've got a big sis we adopted each other from meeting at a FRVA rally. So RVers, the RV community is honestly one big family.
Absolutely. Yeah. And I would say that RVers are probably the nicest people you'll ever meet. I never go to a campground and feel unsafe because there's somebody there generally who can help me if I need it. And when I go to rallies or conventions with Family RV, it's like built in. There are people there, and people are like, "Oh, well, you just drove, 2,000 miles across the country. What does your husband think about it?" And I'm like, "He's fine. He knows that I'm going and meeting up with my friends, and that if something breaks down or something happens, I'm there with 1,000 other RVers to help me troubleshoot and fix the problem. Like, I'm going somewhere safe."
And for me, the rallies are a great way to get some RV maintenance if I need it. And the RV education to me is key.
Absolutely. Absolutely. Who are you going to learn from? People who have done it.
People who have done it. Meagan, thank you for joining the Wandering Gypsy RV Life podcast today.
Thank you for having us. We appreciate it. Say bye.
Bye-bye.
Bye.
Before we wrap this one up, I want to give you a heads up on something we've been building behind the scenes. Doug and I have teamed up on a new series called Cowboys and Cowgirls Rolling Smooth. And this one runs straight down the same road we've been talking about today. Because whether you're in a motorhome, a toter home, or hauling horses in a living quarters trailer, it's the same road, same bumps, same breakdowns, just different rigs. This series is built for the Rodeo Road. Real stories from folks living it. Real stories from miles most people never see. And real solutions when things don't go the way you planned. You'll find it over on Beyond the Chutes. And if you've ever chased a horizon, hauled a dream, or fixed something on the side of the road, this one's for you. Thank you for riding along with me today for this episode of the Wandering Gypsy RV Life podcast. If you enjoyed this episode, be sure to like, subscribe, and share the podcast with a fellow traveler so more folks can find us out here on the road. You can find more stories, photos, and adventures over at wanderinggypsyrvlife.com. If you're looking for gear that helps keep your rig running right, check out Techno RV through my affiliate link at technorv.com. They really do help you adventure more and worry less. And if you enjoy cowboy storytelling and rodeo history, my good friend Doug Simcox hosts a great podcast called Beyond the Chutes, which is well worth a listen at beyondthechutes.show. If you'd like to dive deeper into the mindset behind this lifestyle, you can check out the Rolling Smooth RV book series at wanderinggypsyrvlife.com/rolling smooth. Until next time, keep your rig rolling smooth, keep your coffee hot, and remember, sometimes the best repair isn't just the one that fixes your RV. It's the one that quiets your mind. Safe travels, my friends. And remember, not all who wander are lost.